Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to be putting a fully built motor into my sleeper turbo CRV. All right, here is the motor that we're going to be putting in the sleeper turbo CRV. You can see we got some H-beam rods and there is some Nippon high compression pistons in this as well. Anyway, I have to take this all apart. This was originally in the DA. Cylinder 1 has really loose piston rings, so I got a new box of MPR piston rings that I'm going to be throwing in. All these bearings are brand new. Everything's brand new with this, so pull it all apart, keep it exactly where it was, because I did plastic gauge this motor. It ran for a little bit, probably broke it in nicely. On top of that, we have a VTEC head. I'm pretty sure this is the one that I'm going to be putting on this. I'm going to do some porting here in a second, get it nice and good to my standards, and then, yeah, so it'll probably just cut to some porting. And just like that, I got the cylinder head fully disassembled. I forgot to mention I had to take it apart before I ported it, but here's a little before on the exhaust ports. Can't really see that well in the intake, but I'll show you guys a little after. This head was already decked, you can see. That's why it's like this and not circle. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. Just like that, a little YouTube magic with some editing. You can see the intake is completely ported. If we turn it over, the exhaust is nice and ported and polished extra. All that's good. So now I have to finish cleaning this out, throw everything back together, relap these valves. I already cleaned off the bottom of these. Yeah, throw it all back together. I have some valve seals right here that I'm gonna put in. And then I think the head's good. I think the plan with the block, I gotta disassemble everything. I'm going to DevCon it, drill the holes, send it to the machine shop. B20 sometimes get a weird block warpage. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna have this cleanly decked and the DevCon will be at the very top with that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'd say there's a ton of work. I'm stupid busy with like my actual job, so it might be a couple days before I get back to you on the update on this video. But I just want to let you guys know there is progress being made, and yeah. All right, so this is the intake manifold I have for the CRV. I did a little bit of porting, just smooth this out so there's no rough edges when it first enters. And then it's all port matched nicely. A little bit of polish. I didn't go that far down if you look all the way in there. But yeah, it's pretty ugly, so I'm gonna tape everything off and paint it. It's gonna be black, I think. I think black looks pretty nice. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll show you guys the final result. All right, this is the paint that I'm gonna be using. It's just high temp engine enamel. I painted a few manifolds with this. It works pretty good. As you can see, I got it all masked off. I'm gonna go ahead and shake this some more, spray it down, and then yeah. All right, so I just lapped every single valve. That took a while, but it's done now. I just put the valve seals in, so now I'm gonna put the valves in and put the springs on, and the head should be pretty close to done. All right, so here's where we're at so far. We got the pistons, the crank, everything out of the block, getting it ready for DevCon. You can see these right here, numbered just so I know when I come and work on it again. These are the bearings as well. The main caps, the head is fully put back together. I even have the rocker arms in there, so that's nice. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna DevCon this, send it to the machine shop, have them deck it nice and flat for me, and then throw it all back together. I got some new piston rings in that little yellow box right there, LSV kit, all sorts of stuff for this. I'm super excited. Yeah, it should be pretty sick. All right, so I've started the epoxy process. You gotta put sugar first. Actually, you gotta tape everything off, then put sugar, and then I'm gonna clean all the sugar off, get it to like this thick or deep, and then you mix the epoxy up, pour the epoxy in. 30 minutes after the epoxy has been poured, you can take the tape off, and you got to make sure everything's clean and there's no epoxy on anything. And then after you let it cure for probably 24 hours, you can put the head gasket on, mark some holes out. You only have to drill like little 1/8 of an inch holes to just fill up the gap. And then, yeah, your block's a lot stronger. All right, so it starts out this kind of weird greenish color, tan, green, whatever. Then it turns to like a deep blue once you put the hardener in. So let me do that real quick. All right, so this is what it looks like after you put the hardener in. You can see it's nice and blue. But essentially, you just pour it in nice and slowly. Build it up in layers. Just being careful. All right, so here's what it looks like. I poured it all the way to the top because I'm getting this decked, so not a huge deal. But once it cures, gotta drill some holes and then, yeah, send it to the machine shop. All right, so I just got done drilling out the holes. Now I have to go wash it and get all the sugar out. All right, so not only am I building the engine for the CRV, pretty crazy, but I'm adding some quality of life things as well. You can see right here, you can't really tell on video, but this is an LS 5th gear. If you're unfamiliar with the gear ratios on these CRV trans, they are garbage, especially any kind of highway driving. If you're at 80 miles an hour, you're looking at minimum like 4,500 RPM, which is just terrible. It sucks driving this car far just because it feels like I'm putting so much wear on the motor. So what I did, I dropped 200 bucks on eBay for this guy. Had just an LS 5th gear, all the pieces included with it. So essentially this is everything I changed out. This is a factory countershaft 5th gear for the CRV. This is a factory 5th gear as well for the CRV. So what it does is this actual gear is bigger, and then the gear on the countershaft is smaller, if that makes sense. But after this is all done, it should make it just so much better to drive. Another thing I forgot to mention is the fork. So this is the LS 5th gear fork. You can see it fits just fine on the sleeve or the collar. Now if we grab the the CRV fork, you can see, if I can get in there, it does not fit. So what I'm gonna have to do is cut a slit right here, cut a slit right here, widen it, re-weld it until it fits on good, and then essentially that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I have to make sure the slit's the same, like I spread it the exact same, because sometimes they have a hard time going back together. But yeah, it should just make it so much better. All right, so I just got this block back from the machine shop. You can see it looks great. I'm super excited. The DevCon doesn't look as good as it did, but who cares? I'm never gonna see it anyway. I did mention that I bought new piston rings. They sent me the wrong ones. You can see these are 0.5 over. So they're sending me the correct ones. They should get here today. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the crank in with all the crank bearings, put the rear main in and the oil pump, and then yeah. And boom, just like that, the crank is in, all the main caps are torqued down, the bearings are all nice and lubed up. So now we got the rear main and the oil pump, and then I guess it's just a waiting game to see when those rings will get here. All right, so I just got the new rings in the mail. I don't know why the camera looks so funny, but now I can go ahead and put these on the pistons and then throw the piston and rods into the block. All right, here's where we're at with the CRV engine. You can see I just put the rods and pistons in. It's all torqued down. I can't put a lot of this stuff in because I'm still waiting for a seal on the oil pump, which sucks. But I am gonna go ahead and throw the head on. I got the LS, actually it's a B20 gasket drilled out. You can see the bottom holes are bigger, so that's for LSV. And then yeah, pretty much wait till tomorrow morning. My little seal should be in. This motor should be built all the way by tomorrow morning, and then hopefully I could start taking apart the CRV. And boom, just like that, you can see the head is all on, the cams are torqued down, the head's torqued down, the intake manifold's on, this nice little throttle body's on. I got the 4-bar map sensor on, as well as the distributor and the new wires. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. All right, so we got the CRV in the shop right now. I just had to go buy some jack stands because the shop is packed. I got that car on all jack stands. This car is using jack stands. I got my other jack stands in the other garage holding up some other stuff. So I had to go buy some new jack stands, but I'm about to jack the CRV up and then get to work. I think I should have this motor out in around 2 hours by myself, give or take, we'll see. But yeah. All right, so I got the bumper off, the intercooler piping. You can see the coilovers and everything are out because I have the axles just hanging there ready to be popped out. I still have to drain the oil, the transmission fluid, the coolant as well, but I'm going to reuse this coolant, so I'm going to drain it in a nice and clean little thing. But yeah, we're making some pretty big progress. And just like that, everything is pulled out of the car. It took me a little bit longer than I thought, but 3 hours, not terrible. But yeah. And just like that, the motor is built. I still have to buy spark plugs, so I gotta go put those in after I get done getting them, and then put the wires on, put the spark plug cover on. I just got done putting the twin disc clutch. You can see we got 2 clutch discs in there. Super excited to see how this works out. If it does, even, it was $500, so we'll see. I think like $550 with everything. But yeah, we're making some pretty huge progress. You can see I got a nice little eBay oil cap on there. These are actually real Skunk 2. I don't know if you can see them. Skunk 2 hardware, which is nice. That's cool. Skunk 2 manifold, Skunk 2 intake, or throttle body. But yeah, what do you guys think? All right, so I've done a ton of work. The motor is bolted up on all 3 engine mounts. I just bolted the turbo on. You can see this thing, it fills it up a little bit better. The turbo is so much bigger, which I'm super excited for. But yeah, this is some huge progress. It runs. All right, so it is the next day. I got it running last night. I was getting super freaked out because the clutch was making some noise, but I was doing some research. Fingers crossed it's just because it's the twin disc and there's that floating piece in between rattling. It sounds kind of like a throwout bearing, that's bad, but it moves, so that's good. This intercooler is way too small. I have to change it. The intercooler piping's junk. I threw it together really fast when I first put this thing together, but for testing purposes and just breaking it in, I think this is fine. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw the bumper on, and go test drive it. I think everything is pretty good so far. I got the ECU undone right now so I can tune it. If you look closely, that little black wire right there is my VTEC wire, so I have to wire that puppy in and then change the map a bunch. But she's looking great. I still have to make an exhaust too. This is the exhaust off my CRX. Just temporary, but I'm super stoked. Everything's so clean with this motor. And yeah, I'll update you guys when I'm tuning it. And yeah. All right, so I just wired in VTEC. That's what this little wire is right now. Usually it's 3 wires stock, but I'm not gonna be using the VTEC pressure sensor. So this is just straight to the solenoid, so the ECU will tell it when to turn on and when to turn off. Usually this stuff gets tucked, and then there's a little cover that covers everything, but I have to have it open right now because I'm gonna go ahead and tune it. All right, so I just got done changing out this transfer case from the CRV. Right now, you can probably hear it warming up a little bit. I'm gonna go test drive and see if that changed it. I just took the one off the trans from the motor I took out of the car. This one had some play right here. Turns out I just didn't tighten this nut all the way. My bad. I'm sure it's all right, but if you guys look right here, I had to weld this. The guy I got the trans from said somebody tried to steal his catalytic converters and it cut into the transfer case. Weird. So I welded it up and I was like, fingers crossed, maybe I can keep it or still use it, but I'm not sure if it's even good. So I'm gonna tighten that nut and see if I can get it all to work great, but if not, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, in a few minutes, I'm gonna go test drive this, see if it still makes that weird noise it was making. If it does, I'm gonna jack it back up and see if the wheels spin freely. If not, we'll just go from there and keep going down the checklist. All right, so that did fix the problem, which I'm super stoked about. That means that all the work I did to the transmission was good. Super excited. That's the first time I ever did anything custom with the transmission. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and make an exhaust and everything for this. This is just the exhaust from my all-wheel drive CRX with a very, very similar setup. So I just threw that on there temporarily. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that. And I think that is almost it for this. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it for this video. I already have a ton of footage I gotta go through. I wanna make it a completely separate video of me tuning this car and dialing it in a little bit. So I gotta break it in first. I'll probably tune it a little bit and then yeah, get you guys a whole separate video of me ripping on it, doing all the cool stuff that I wanna do. But yeah, let me know what you guys wanna see about this car, video suggestions. Like I said before, I haven't even made anything of the other video yet, so leave some stuff in the comment that you would like to see. But yeah, thanks for watching and subscribe if you like this kind of content.